Hey everybody, Brandon Lewis here with the Big Seven. This is, the TennCon's Big Second Seven. Hey, somebody help me! I'm stuttering. I haven't even started drinking yet. Big Seven Weekend Digest. Brandon Lewis here, bringing you the conservative news stories that your liberal, leftist, conservative hating, American hating, liberal, leftist hating media will never cover here in Tennessee at the state level. I got so much on my mind, brain's a little scrambled because we got so many things going on in the state of Tennessee. If you will, in the comments section, tell me where you are watching from. If you're watching from Harriman, Tennessee, if you're out in Tellico Plains, I had a great time there this weekend. Ran into a few subscribers. That was fun. Went out there with my father-in-law and a good buddy of mine and camped in God's creation. Also, wanted to just tell you all appreciate all the comments and the emails and things that you send me about our work here. And as we go through these stories in the comments section, hey, we've got Liberty Renfro. Now that's a good name, from Seymour, Tennessee. I remember the old joke, you used to call into the bar and ask for Seymour. Is Seymour there? Who? Seymour Butts. And then you hang up the phone. I have a 7th grade sense of humor. I can't help it. Thank you, Liberty, for joining us. Leave your comments about what you think about these stories. Whether you're watching it live right now, we've got some people coming on here, or if you're watching it later. Okay? So we're going to get right into this. We got a lot to cover. First thing, little announcement as you leave your comments and tell me where you're from in the comments section. I'm going to be in Tri-Cities at the Patriots Brigade this coming Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. at Freedom, I think it's Baptist Church, but it may just be Freedom Church. I've got a link in the show notes here that says don't miss me in Tri-Cities next week. There's a little link there you can click. It's also on our homepage. Come out and see me, and we'll talk about how the left-leaning media is turning Tennessee blue. Hey, appreciate you being here, Russell from Dandridge, Tennessee. We got Kodak, Tennessee. Narissa, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get right into this. This is the first thing. Biden unveils vaccine mandate to affect 100 million Americans. You've heard about this. This isn't state news, but it does have a state element to it, and we're going to get to that. Here's the headline, or here's the beginning of the story. And these are all at TennesseeConservativeNews.com. You can go there, subscribe, and read these in greater detail than what I'll cover them today. Biden announced sweeping new COVID-19 vaccine mandates that will force millions of unvaccinated Americans to receive the vaccine, undergo weekly testing, or lose their jobs, flipping on a promise that the president made in 2020 that he would enact no such mandate. Imagine that. Joe Biden's a liar. Newsflash, Joe Biden's a liar. Now, here's the funny thing. We've had corporate mandates on this in Tennessee, and we've had corporate testing in Tennessee. The only difference is now Joe Biden is encouraging them to do it, and the Tennessee legislature never did anything about this in the last session. The House has called for a special session. Randy McNally, which I'm increasingly thinking is just a rhino, has done nothing to protect the medical freedoms of Tennesseans. We've got some senators right now working on trying to get a special session put together. There's a contingency of people in the Senate, very small, that actually wants to help you protect your rights and your liberties, but they are outnumbered. My hope is, now that Joe Biden has basically done what Bill Lee has allowed and what the legislature has allowed. I mean, this has been going on, so if you're going to be mad at somebody, don't be mad at Joe Biden. Be mad at Bill Lee, be mad at Randy McNally, be mad at the senators and the House people that aren't up there demanding that we have a special session to address this stuff. Okay, we got Charles rather, coming in from Collierville, Tennessee. Charles, thank you for coming, and let me know what you think about this. Back to the story. Biden rolled out the list of stringent new rules via executive orders. That's something Bill Lee likes a lot, too. He likes to rule by executive order. He doesn't understand. There are two people that don't understand separation of powers. Bill Lee, Joe Biden. Neither one of them understands separation of powers. It's amazing to be a conservative governor and to not understand separation of powers. Back to the story. Biden rolled out the list of stringent new rules via executive orders and federal regulatory changes Thursday, most notably requiring that all private employers with 100 or more employees ensure that their employees are vaccinated or get tested weekly. The federal government can't deliver the mail on time. They can't get out of Afghanistan. They can't get people off welfare. They can't do anything but cripple the job market. Now he's got all the time, energy, effort to go do this crap that limits people's freedoms and liberty. It's, boys and girls, this has nothing to do with policy. It has everything to do with controlling you and making more and more people dependent upon the government. They hate the fact that America is free, that we have liberties, that we have constitutional rights that are enshrined by our founders, and they want to strip them away. And we've got a lot of Republicans in our state that seem to be pretty darn on board with it. You know, there's one way you can do it. You can force it and be on board with it, or you can do what our state Senate is doing and just ignore it and be on board with it. You should be calling your state senators and asking them why in the world they aren't raising hell to fix this. If you don't like this, if you have been medically abused, if you have been had your privacy tampered with, if you've had your business shut down, if you've been masked, shot, drugged, tested, the only people that you should really be mad at are the people in Tennessee that could have prevented it but decided not to. And the two biggest ones are Bill Lee and Randy McNally right now. It's a travesty. That's one reason I started this publication. I don't want to be here doing this right now, but apparently no damn body else will do it. Back to the story. The new mandate also requires that all federal employees and contractors get vaccinated with no testing or opt-out options. Biden lambasted Americans who have not yet been vaccinated in a speech Thursday, repeatedly saying that the vaccine is safe and that the confusion and misinformation are preventing Americans from taking the vaccine. Listen, I've already caught COVID, and I've naturally recovered from it. And I'm anywhere from 6 to 20 times more unlikely to get it than someone who is vaccinated. If you want to get vaccinated, great. If you've got pre-existing health conditions, fantastic. If you're old and you want to do it, okay. I don't need to do it. The best form of treatment for me in my personal situation and many Tennesseans is to catch it and recover from it. The antibodies last longer, we don't have to worry about the additional side effects, and we're less likely to catch it. But guess what? There's no money. There's no money. There's no lobbyists paying our state reps and our state senators for natural immunity. There's no PAC donations for natural immunity. Nobody's getting rich off of natural immunity. That's why you never hear about it. It's about money and control and power. The president plan calls on entertainment venues like sports arenas, large concert halls, and other venues, basically corporate America, which Republicans seem to be in love with in Tennessee, to gather to require that their patrons be vaccinated or show a negative test for entry, the White House said. So you got all these Republicans and Democrats that are just waiting on something like Joe Biden's blessing to shove this down your throat. Now they've got it, and we've got such a weak-kneed lack of conservative leadership in Tennessee. Share this with people you know. Share this with conservatives you know, please, that don't know that there's a conservative news source, that think that because Bill Lee tweets something about how awful Joe Biden is, when he's done essentially the same thing through inaction for the last 18 months, that are in the dark, that are easily bamboozled, that look through, can't see through the smoke screen. Share this stuff with them. Let them start asking their own questions. Next story. Afghan refugee vetting process in question while Tennessee targeted for resettlement. This is the second time we've been targeted for resettlement. The first time they put this massive illegal immigration center in Chattanooga for refugee resettlement without any communication, without any conversation, without any public dialogue. Bill Lee did that too. Got shut down because of molestation. Got shut down because of runaway, lost kids. We broke the story on that. We kept the pressure on that. It's still closed, but they're appealing it. So as Governor Lee's administration has refused comment about their stance on the influx of Afghan refugees being relocated to Tennessee, again, I mean, this guy should have just ran as a Democrat. Speaker Sexton has voiced his distrust in the Biden administration's vetting process. If I were Sexton, I'd be voicing my distrust of the Lee administration. That's something you can actually control. Now, Sexton, to his credit, I appreciate him for having the bravery and all of those representatives that called for a special session. I don't see how there's such a big difference in conservative conviction between the Senate and the House. It has to be leadership. It has to be, I assume. Sexton said, "I do not have confidence that the Biden administration's vetting process concerning the refugees issues much less has the ability to work with law enforcement and immigration officials. His administration has been a failure on both immigration and foreign policy. Therefore, I do not think it is a good idea for Tennesseans to accept Afghan refugees. A Knoxville-based nonprofit is apparently coordinating the relocation of new Afghan refugees with the state. Let me tell you something about nonprofits. I've worked at a couple of them. If you make money off doing it, it's for profit. And these nonprofits and these churches that are in cahoots with the federal government to basically illegally immigrate people, be they terrorists or otherwise, into our state is a travesty. Biden is a puppet for the left, doing what they want, says Leslie Sanders. Dan says he is coming in from Fairfield Glade, Tennessee. Thanks, Dan. I see you comment on our stuff and share it a lot. I appreciate you. Narissa said, I voted for Bill Lee, not again. I'm in the same boat. Hey, I voted for Bill Lee, guys. I voted for him. I wish I could take that vote back. Kevin, Northern Illinois, watching how things are going there in the free world. Got some folks from Illinois moving down. We got Robert here from Placer County, California, fighting Gavin Newsom. Thank you, Robert. Move to Tennessee. Move to Tennessee. Come on over and say hey to everybody. We're nice folks here. Some of us are, at least, anyway. Bill Wright says, Bill Lee is all talk. It sounds good, but it's just words, and we need action, and that is absolutely right. Back to the story. Next story. Well, so a director went on to state that the federal government has sent the Afghan refugees to them, and last week they said, we are training volunteers until the federal government confirms how many refugees will be sent to either Knoxville and Chattanooga locations, as well as when they will be arriving. So if you live in Knoxville, if you live in Chattanooga, you got a whole bunch of Afghan refugees coming right on the heels of a bunch of legal immigrants. Welcome to Tennessee and Bill Lee's world. Embarrassing. Here's something that's not embarrassing. Tennessee Special Ops working to rescue allies in Afghanistan. Before I do that, I want to thank you all for the support that you send in financially. I got some fantastic donations from people that I don't know personally that follow what we do, that are giving on a monthly basis, because I just do this all out of my back pocket. I got another business that makes me money. I do this because it just makes me so mad that no one is standing up for our rights in Tennessee, not even our Republican leaders. Usually it's just us fighting Democrats, but apparently not so anymore. And if you go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support, click that red support button, we will send you 2 proud Tennessee conservative bumper stickers. I don't care what it is. The smallest monthly donation makes a huge difference. We just want to break even here. This thing ain't ever going to make any money. I don't see that it could, but I'd rather it not cost me money. We'll send you 2 of these. We'll also send you this directory of all your state senators and state reps. Now would be a good time to get this puppy in hand and start calling these people and emailing these people and asking them why you're sitting on your ass as our medical freedoms are taken away from us. And we will send you this proud Tennessee conservative tumbler. The other day, a friend of mine who lives in a little mobile home, the thing was off kilter. And all I did is I lifted up the back part because I'm pretty chunky, and I propped it on this. That's a good 16,000 pounds of weight-bearing power there, and it also holds coffee or wine or beer, and it keeps it either cold or hot. It really is quite magical. Quite magical. If you keep it real close to you in the middle of the night, you'll have good dreams. Magical properties. If you give $50 or more, or give a recurring contribution, we will send you this puppy. And if somehow we ever screw up and don't send this to you and we just send the letter to let us know, I had somebody do that this week. We make mistakes over here, but we do correct them, unlike our state government. Back to the story. Special operatives from Middle Tennessee are currently working to help American allies still stuck in Afghanistan. The humanitarian group Patriot Mountain consists of special op vets from Kentucky and Tennessee. Veteran Jason Ladd, a member of the group, said these men have served multiple deployments, are now having to step up and leave their families once again under a volunteer status to go over and help these Americans because that's the oath we took to do. Operatives are currently camped along the Afghanistan border and offering shelter to refugees. According to Ladd, the special ops have to remain anonymous due to the nature of the mission. I imagine they do. Bill Wright says Bill Lee is all talk. We already read this one. Biden is a puppet for the left doing what they want, says Leslie Sanders. These stories. Tell you what, guys, this kind of stuff can give you heartburn. All right, let's get to this next one. This is a good one. This is so funny. I think this is funny. I think this is a funny story. If you don't get a laugh out of this, or if you don't get a cry, something's wrong. So here we go. I'm gonna get down there. Scroll down to the comments. I may be missing some. And again, let me know where you're from. You know, it always helps me. I like to know where our listening audience is and watching audience is from. So listen to this. This is a good one. The University of Tennessee, Knoxville hosts racially segregated workshop. Have you ever noticed that the left's ideas of being progressive are to regress? When the left thinks they're going forward, they go towards communism and socialism and monarchy. Like we're the only experiment in the free world in the entire history that has gone as well as we've gone because we're a capitalistic, Bible-believing, Judeo-Christian republic who believes that liberty and freedom rest in the individual and not the state, that it comes from God, not man, and that men are evil and capricious and that they are not good. And when the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, the people educating your children at taxpayer expense, they take your taxpayer dollars and do this crap. Where's the legislature? Asleep, taking a nap. The governor, taking a nap. Got too many Haslam advisors and too many, unfortunately, I believe, too many of Frist advisors left around, the super moderate, slightly to the right of Democrat folks that fund this stuff. This is great stuff. So they think segregation is progressive. This is wonderful. The University of Tennessee, Knoxville's College of Social Work. I would call it the College of using taxpayer money to give to people that don't really need it in most cases, but that's too long. Is hosting a racially segregated workshops this month in September as they're part of inclusivity and anti-racism program. The group for Caucasian individuals, that'd be me, is called the White Accountability Group, or WAG. Campus officials state that the group is an important mechanism for people who identify as white or have white skin privilege to do their own work. I don't need to do any damn work. I work all damn day long, longer than I should. I don't need to do any extra work. I'm good. Back to the story. WAGS provides individuals with an environment and an intention to authentically and create and engage in whiteness, white privilege, and to hold each other accountable for change. Participants explore how to recognize whiteness and white privilege. I grew up with a dad that couldn't read or write in a trailer on the side of the state road. When it was good, I moved in with Dad. We didn't have any, had old red well water that belched out of the sink, unpainted wafer board ceilings, burnt carpet. Dad had clubfoot and facial deformities. All of my cousins ended up like on drugs or dead. If that's white privilege, I'd like to give it to a black person. They can have it, because I didn't like it growing up. Back to the story. Participants explore how to recognize whiteness and white privilege, blah, 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 internalize dominance, and collectively. So basically it's like this. If you say you're not racist, you're racist. And if you say you're racist after they convince you you're racist, you're racist. There's no way to win. It's just a way to control people. That's all it is. Back to the story. The group for individuals of color has been dubbed the BIMPOC Affinity Group. BIMPOAC, or short, is intended for black, indigenous, and multiracial people of color. I tell you what, I've helped people and coached people my entire professional life to improve their lot in life and their business, and I have found no difference between skin color. But I have found if somebody has a victim mentality, or they think that they're owed a living, or if they blame everybody else, or they make excuses, they don't succeed. Teaching people that their success is in the hands of someone else is a surefire way to ensure failure. And not only are these people doing something bad to the complicit folks that are in the white group, they're doing something awful to the folks that are in the black and other colored group by convincing them somehow their lives are not in their own control. It's terrible. It's terrible. We got East Tennessee Republicans watching from Maryville, Tennessee. Thank you. We got Rebecca Bond from Kingston. Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate you being here. I don't even want to read the rest of this crap. UTK's Dean of Equity and Inclusion, J. Camille Hall, encouraged students to miss class and attend the segregated sessions. I don't know what we paid J. Camille Hall, but that is a complete waste of damn money. And tell people they need to miss class to go to this horse crap. Next story. Judge issues restraining order on Lee's school mask mandate in Shelby County. A federal judge ruled last Friday that schools in Shelby County can enforce a mask mandate despite Governor Bill Lee's executive order giving parents the ability to opt out of mask mandates. Where were these judges when businesses were being unconstitutionally shut down, and churches were being shut down, and Bill Lee was canceling Christmas and Thanksgiving and gatherings of certain people for public health without any type of authority or legal backing. These judges are real fast to do things and put injunctions in place that take away rights, but, buddy, they don't give a rip about protecting them. U.S. District Judge Cheryl Lippman issued the temporary restraining order, which will run through September 17th. The lawsuit filed August 17th claims executive order allowing parents to opt out of school mask mandates violates the Americans with Disabilities Act because it doesn't allow the plaintiffs to access reasonable protection from the threat of exposure to COVID-19. Stay at home and do remote learning. Wear your own mask. Get your own vaccination. Back to the story. The court ruled on the 4 factors for issuing the temporary restraining orders were met, including likelihood of success based on merits, irreparable harm. What about the irreparable harm of wearing a mask for hours on end? Where are these damn judges when people are taking away our rights and liberties? Why do they only crop up when people want to take them away? Next story, and maybe y'all can help out with this. Reward for missing Hawkins County girl surpasses $38,000. The reward offered in the case for the missing 5-year-old Summer Moon Utah Wells has now reached over $38,000. Wells was last seen outside her family's home in the Beach Creek community of Rogersville. That's interesting. I grew up in an area called Beach Creek in Alabama. Odd. On June 15th, Rogersville is 65 miles north of Knoxville. She's about 3 feet tall and weighs about 40 pounds. There's a picture of her at Tennessee Conservative News. A little blonde-haired girl, sweet looking. I hope they can find her. I couldn't imagine. I got 2 little girls. Could not imagine. At the time of her disappearance, she was wearing a pink shirt and gray pants and was barefoot. Her mother, Candace Bly, says the girl had been gardening with her grandmother and then went inside. She, along with her father, Donald Wells, believes Summer was abducted. Anyone with credible information about her disappearance should contact the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. That's 1-800-TBI-FIND. Last story. Memphis Border Control agents intercept Mexican drug shipment. Couldn't imagine that with the border being wide open. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents in Memphis confiscated a large amount of fentanyl that was en route to Houston. I think that's what George Floyd was on when he suffocated himself. According to agents, there was enough of the drug to potentially kill hundreds of thousands of people. The CBP reports that 2.85 kilos of fentanyl had been packed away in wood boxes and had been shipped under the description Wood, Crafts, Arts, and Techniques of Making. Like it, if you at least use some grammatically correct phrasing there, might not have got them busted. The unvarnished wooden boxes were filled with wooden crafts such as wooden rolling pin. So the guy says, what's his name? Port Director Benjamin Canfield said this might seem like a small seizure from a little handicraft box, but if we look at those DEA numbers, this had the potential of overdose to kill 1.4 million people. That's a lot of poison to be shipped to residents in southeast Houston. There you have it. Now, if you can go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support, please do so. I don't care how small the amount is. We could use it. Do subscribe to the newsletter, and you just go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com. We never know when our Facebook channel will be shut down. We just don't know. Probably a matter of time. The more and more we become effective. And then if you will go and look at the event page or look at our page or look at the newsletter, I'm going to be in Tri-Cities this Tuesday at 6:30. So if you're in that area, go to the Patriots Brigade meeting. You can look on our Facebook page. I think it's pinned to the top or it's under events. Click the button. You can RSVP. You can call Frank Barwick, and he'll make sure that he knows you're coming. All right, guys, I got a hot fitted out of here. I got to get a haircut, getting a little shaggy here. So I hope you and your family have a great weekend. I'm going to have a good one with mine. Love you guys. Take care. Keep fighting the fight. Keep pushing for this special session. Keep standing behind the real Republicans in Tennessee so that we can hold the rhinos accountable to at least limp across the finish line with some of these issues pertaining to individual liberty and freedom. Thank you so much, guys. Brandon Lewis here. Talk to you next week. Take care.